Right, we'll now look at the basic trig ratios with reference to basic angles. And we'll need an equilateral triangle with side 2. Now, if it is an equilateral triangle, it means that all the sides are having 2 units. And so, if I have the altitude of that triangle drawn with my dotted lines, it will make an angle of 90 degrees with a baseline. Now, the baseline would also have a length of 2 units. So, this altitude would have divided that 2 units into 2 equal parts. And so, one part will be 1 unit. Now, this angle in here is 90 degrees. For the equilateral triangle in general, we will have 60 degrees, 60 degrees, 60 degrees. This altitude will divide the angle at the top into 2 equal parts. So 60 degrees into 2 parts will give us 30 degrees on one side, 30 degrees on the other side. Now with this, we can attempt to name the sides of half of the equilateral triangle, which happens to be a right angle triangle. So with reference to that right angle triangle, we can name the sides. This angle is 90 degrees, and so the side facing it, which has 2 units, will be our hypotenuse side. With reference to angle 30 degrees, we will have that side to be our opposite side. And this will be the height. Let's call it h. How do we find the length of the height of that triangle? We would go with Pythagorean equation, and that will give us the hypotenuse side 2 squared must give us the opposite side, which will be a length of 1 unit, 1 squared plus h squared. And so 2 squared minus 1 squared, because we are transposing the 1 squared here to the left, will give us h squared. And so 2 squared will give us 4 minus 1 squared, which will give us 1. And so our h squared will give us 3 equals h squared. Therefore, if we need our h, we'll take the square root of both sides, and so our h will give us root 3. So that is the value of h, root 3. With that, we can now go to the trig ratios and find sine 30 degrees. In our previous lesson, we realized sine is a ratio that combines the opposite side and the hypotenuse side. So we go for the values of the opposite side of our triangle and the hypotenuse side. From that triangle, our opposite side is 1 unit. And our hypotenuse side is 2 units. And so we have our sine 30 to be 1/2. We can go on and find cos 30 degrees. What is the ratio for cos? We have it to be adjacent divided by hypotenuse. And so looking at our diagram, our adjacent side is root 3. Our hypotenuse side is still 2. And so we will have our cos 30 to give us root 3 divided by 2. And finally, with the angle 30, we can have tan 30 degrees. What is the ratio for tan 30 degrees? The ratio will be opposite divided by adjacent. From our diagram, our opposite side is 1 unit and our adjacent side is √3. Now from your previous lesson from last semester, you realize that 1 divided by √3 is irrational, and so you can rationalize it and your value would be √3/3. I am sure you understand how that was done. In case you have forgotten, you will need to revise your notes on sets, and I am sure you remember and pick up from there. Now from that same diagram, we can find the following ratios: cos 60 degrees, sin 60 degrees, and tan 60 degrees. Now before you start to work on that, you need to be careful. The sides would have to be renamed because the angle of reference is 60. And so the opposite side and the hypotenuse side, the opposite and the adjacent side will be different from what we have here on the board. And so let's quickly take our angle 60 from here. What then will be our adjacent side and what will be our opposite side? The opposite will now be that height, which is √3. And the adjacent will be 1. So with extra caution here, we are going to find the trig ratios for 60, cos 60, tan 60, sin 60. Shall we go? Cos 60 will give us adjacent side divided by the hypotenuse side. And our adjacent is 1, the hypotenuse is 2. So we will have 1 divided by 2. If we come to sine, sine will give us the opposite divided by adjacent. Opposite to angle 60 will be √3, and the adjacent is 1. And so sine 60 will give us √3 divided by 1. And finally, tan 60 will give us opposite side divided by the adjacent side. But the reference is with angle 60. So the opposite is √3, the adjacent is 1. So we would have √3 divided by 1. √3 divided by 1. And so that gives us the trig ratios for sin 30, cos 30, sin 60, cos 60, and tan 30, cos 30. Thank you.